Hi, this is Letty. I'm continuing on. Now I want to ask a question of my data. I want to know, how do the GPAs of students taking one major compare against another? In other words, I'm keeping track of a student's declared major, so I could group business and engineering and communication students together and compare their average GPAs. So I'm going to do a file, save object as, and I want it to be saved as a query, and I'm going to call this GPA by major. Now I'm going to go home. Here's my GPA by major, and notice that I am actually looking at that one now. It's kind of like a Word document. If you do a save as, you're looking at the new document. Okay, so this time I want to eliminate any data that's not going to group. Because it's not going to group on a student's social security or first name or the number of their credits or any of that. And in fact, it's not even going to group on quality points and credits, and I'm going to get rid of that, get rid of that. I do want their major and I do want their GPA. Now, I have to turn on the totals row, and I'm going to go to design view. I need to be on that tab. This is the totals row. Clicking this toggles on and off. Look down here when I turn it on. Toggles on and off this totals row, and I want to group by the major that students have, but I actually want an average of the GPA. So notice that I can pull down in the totals row and say what kind of an aggregate function I'm looking for. So I'm asking for an average, and I'm going to click run, and now I'm seeing that, oh, somebody doesn't have a major declared. We'll look at that in a minute, but here are the other majors and the average GPA that students have on that major. And you know, when I do something like this, if the most important thing about this is to compare them, I'm probably going to want to go to the sort row and say, show me the highest scores to the lowest scores. So right now I can see that engineering students are doing the best, then communication, then business, then liberal arts, then education, and then undecideds. Well, these three are really tied, aren't they? Okay, so that's the idea. When you want to do an aggregate, you get rid of any fields that will not group together. You put on the totals row, you tell it what aggregate function you want, and it's almost always useful to do some sorting.